I wanted to go over Lift 4 stuff just because we're starting on the 16th. Make sure all of you guys are starting too. And then Cliff is going to go over some stuff that's helped him in his business. And yeah, so July 16th, we have a lot of you are running the Facebook group for that. So we have a group on Facebook, and then I know some of you are also running probably other groups. Can you guys hear me okay? It says I'm unstable.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. It's weird because everyone keeps freezing, but I'm probably the one that's freezing. All right, so Lift 4 group. Shay, can you share about the Lift 4 Facebook group since you and those girls are heading that one up? Just on, you guys are in prep week now.
Right now, I've got a few, like, I know Rochelle, Laura, Roxanne, Melissa, Tiffany, myself. Who am I missing? But we're all taking a day, and basically over the weekend we're planning out like what we're going to do. And I was going to. You have a really awesome like meal planning 3-day workshop. I was going to meet with you and finding that, so I was going to make.
Okay.
But yeah, this week's prep week, so we came on Monday, so we came up with an exact on what we're going to do. But basically, just one post a day. We're keeping it really simple. What I'd like to see, what I was like noticing today, is in the comments, let's like sure. When we get our work, I think that kind of helps. And we need to freeze it because I noticed somebody posted today. So we need to freeze the group on the wall, unless that's the way we want it. But I think it gets kind of crazy when it starts, we are posting on the wall. I don't know what you guys think, but basically a community on Facebook of everybody doing Lift 4 together. A lot of us are in Joel's group, but this is really for our people that aren't in Joel's group, who aren't coaches or signed up for discount coaches or whatever. So we can pull from the information and share that in the group as well. So
yeah. So anybody like on our team, right, can add people to it and engage in.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. They just have to be a customer. So we have an information separate.
Yeah.
So before you approve, if you're in the group, don't approve anybody unless they're your people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if anybody is doing Lift 4 and they want to join the group and then they're excited and they bring in someone else along with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's such a great thing to have on Facebook, you guys. If you want to get your people plugged into that. And it's so much fun when you have different coaches posting too, because it's variety, it's not just the same person all the time. As far as, did you guys have any questions on how to share on Lift 4, different, needing ideas on stuff, or is anyone struggling with talking about the program? Anything like that? I'm gonna go this way though. It's okay. It's hard.
I'm not struggling with it, but I'm not seeing the level of excitement that I've seen from customers in previous launches, and I'm not like Shift Shop, people were all over it. 80-day, people were all over it. Lift 4, like pulling teeth engagement.
How are you sharing about it?
Insta stories, Facebook stories, posts, invites, email.
No, I mean, like, how are you sharing about it? Are you doing like the workout? What is the point that why is it going to appeal to your people?
I'm trying to hit on the only 4 days a week, 30 minutes a day, because one of the biggest objectives I get is time.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if people are intimidated with the lift side of it.
Yeah. So that's what you could do is talk about how weight training transformed your life. Because
Done that.
I mean, that was such a big thing for you. I mean, your body started changing, with lifting, and start putting that out there. And so then if people have fears about the lift part, and you could even share some stuff like you could do, just throwing this out there. I don't know. You could do like a thing on a video of curls with dumbbells and then show one with resistance bands and just be like, hey, you don't have to do weights with this program. We can do resistance bands too. Like there's some, you know what I mean? If that's where you feel like some people are struggling, but I would definitely, and that's what I'm going to be pushing hard to is weight training will transform your body and don't be afraid of it. I think that's something that's helpful. I've been taking, the approach with runners and triathletes, since I'm an endurance coach, so it's been helpful in that end, but also just in the same thing, like live your life, get out and do other things. Like what else do you want to do with your fitness? Yeah, as far as I just did a mass email. I don't know if any of you are on our email list, but I just did a mass email and I posted in our I have a community group on Q&As on the program. And so if you have any questions on the program, what it's like, who it's for, how long the workouts are, anything like that, you can find that in the back office. But I did do that, and I could always post that in the team page if that will help anybody. Definitely continue to share. I think this is one of those things that as we invest fully into it and show up, just like you did with 80 Day, Tara, and Laura too, and I mean, a lot of you, like, I think it's one of those things that when people start seeing the results, they're going to, like, latch on more with it. You know what I mean? Which is exciting because then it gives us more of a push, you know what I mean, to stay on track. I mean, that's something that always pushes me in my own fitness was, like, I know my results are going to sell. That, you know what I mean? If people see I'm getting results, you guys know that, I mean, in your own journey. Because people if they don't see a change in your life physically too, I mean, we can talk about the other changes that go along with it. It's not all a number on a scale. I'm talking about just your body composition and everything in general. But if people don't see a genuine change, then why do they think they're going to get one? So I think it's something that for sure, we all go into it like, hey, this is our test group. And we're going to nail this so that we can show other people how to do the same thing and get those results. So I can share. I just, guys, I know I do emails. I don't do much messaging. I do more, let me get your email, and then I email them instead of Messenger. I can share my emails too if anybody wants, like, that, an outline. I always give them 2 bundle options. I say, hey, this is what the group entails. You get, you get as far as like workouts to stream, talk a little bit about the program. The nutrition program is super easy. You guys get to look at that. It's open now. Super, like, it's simple. Macro-based plan. It's balanced. So I say that it's a macro-based plan, very balanced, very easy. We teach you how to do that in our group, how to follow it. You get it one cheat day. I refer to it, and I think they do this on the 2B, right, as the treat day. And we talk about different ways. In my email, I say we talk about different ways that you can, still maximize your results by eating what you want. So I always give, when people say, how much does it cost? And I say, depends on what you need, because everybody's different, and I have a couple of different bundle options. So let's figure out what's best for you. What's your email? And that's what I do. You get their email, and then that's when I send them. I keep it on my phone. And I say my basic outline. I say, all right, girlfriend, because that's what I'm talking to, and I'll post this if you guys want it, talking to girls. And I say, run down 8-week program, 30 to 39-minute workouts, 4 times a week, 3 days off, no nonsense meal plan. And then I go through, it's an app on your phone, blah, blah, blah. I go through the program a little bit, everything they get. So I always give them all the value before I'm like, this is the price. So I want them to see everything they get. They get an 8-week program we're doing together. You get access to a huge library of other workouts, and I put in parentheses hundreds to use after this 8 weeks for an entire year. I'll be there with you as your coach in my boot camps for the whole 12 months, so you'll always know what to do next. I have tons of meal plans, recipes I put together in the group, and these are all off of BOD or off of Beachbody blog. Family-friendly stuff and easy things, since that's how I roll with a family of 5. And then something that I do give as an option, and this is for all of you, if you want this, let me know. As an endurance coach, because I'm talking to people who are, a lot of them are endurance athletes, I use a program called Training Peaks. Shay's familiar with Training Peaks. Tara's familiar with Training Peaks. I don't know who else is. It's a program that a lot of athletes use. And when they work with a coach, like triathlon coach or running coach, they use Training Peaks. So what I've done is Cliff did it. He put the Lift 4 workouts in a Training Peaks plan. It's just a bonus we offer people if they're an athlete, and if you guys want access to it, it's there. They basically get a code to get it for free because it's $25, and they drop it in their Training Peaks. So I do give an extra because I'm like, hey, those are my expertise. What can I do to give? So if there's something that you can give on your end, like, hey, I think it's already worth the price. But I know that's what separates me from other coaches. So it could be something simple. I mean, anything you want to just say, hey, you'll get my, top 10 meal prep tips, or my top, grocery store, bonus if you sign up by Friday. That's what we tell people is like, I'll give you this extra. So I tell them, hey, you get an option of a Training Peaks plan to drop in there if you want it. And then as far as pricing, there are 2 bundles to choose from. And so I give them an option. Number 1, it's $230 bundle. And then I go through everything that's in that. Okay. Again, I repeat all of the stuff. And then the second option is I give is the 170. Sometimes, depending on who I'm talking to, I do the first option as the mega, and then the second option as the 230. It just depends because I've already talked to them a little bit, here and there. And then I just say it's up to you, either way you choose, blah, 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 order by this time, and you get that try plan. Reply back, reserve your spot, I'll set you up. And so on. And then I just say, are you in? I always leave them with a question. I don't say, what do you think? I don't say, I don't leave it too open. I don't say, what do you think? Or take a look at that and check it out, or something like that. I always say, are you in? Are you committed? Are you doing this? And I try to leave it with that bold question, and then I just leave it at that. And then I follow up with them either 1 to 2 days later, and I always say, hey girl, just want to make sure you got my email, and I'll do that through Messenger because I've already sent them the email. If they say, yeah, I need to take a look at it or whatever, but usually it prompts them to respond through email if they haven't yet. And so then I go back, and if they still haven't responded, I'll go back and I'll send them another email. So that's my process, and I know everybody's different, but I thought maybe it would help for you guys to know what I do. First you want to be nurse. So, hold on, Bubba. So I'll share my emails if you guys want that. I don't know if that's helpful. I know I've shared stuff before and I keep them all pretty similar. But I think it's so important that we stress the value of everything they're getting before, and finding out what they want, and then giving them that choice, I think helps. Now I do tell them, let me know your goals too, so I can work with you a little bit better. And usually I'll get questions like, okay, can you give me the nutrition label on the supplements? Or, I'm vegan, what can I do here? Or whatever, and we'll go back and forth a little bit. But a lot of times I also get them just saying, yes, I'm in. What's the next step? Because they've seen all of that on there too. So So I do put a lot in the emails, but I keep notes on my phone, and I just copy it, paste it, change it a little bit for whoever I'm talking to, and send it. So that's helpful to me. The other thing I do is Insta stories. I do a poll about every single day the week before I start a group. So it says, what is my question? I can't remember. Do you need a game plan for your health and fitness? Or no, do you need a game plan for your nutrition and fitness, or something like that? I give them 2 double positives. I say yes, or I need more info. 2 double positives. They can't say no. Or they just don't vote. So then usually I have people saying yes or send me info, and then I just contact all of them and say, hey, thanks for, commenting on my poll. What's your email? I'll send you information. See if this is right for you. And that's been really helpful. The polls have been helpful. And then I do send out a lot of emails. I go back through older people that I've talked to in the past. The other thing I do is we have a free community group that we put people in, and I try to, right before we're closing a group, like right before group starting, I go through that group, and we've got 400 people, like almost 500 people. It's a free group. We just do monthly workshops in there. I go through and I make sure I'm connecting with everybody that I have in that group, so it's people I'm friends with, at least once a week. So I'm commenting on their stuff, and I'm showing up, and I'm like, hey, I'm here. So even if they're not seeing my stuff in the group thing, usually it helps me show up in their posts when I'm doing my invites. And I do a lot of invites the week before we start. I say open enrollment. That's out here. Hey, you guys, sorry.
Oh, there she goes.
I don't know where I was
That's
talking.
okay.
Where I finished. So hopefully, I don't know if some of those things do help. Hopefully they do help. But yeah, I do a lot of emails. So you can go through your email list. You can go through your customer list too. One thing is, and this is something that I've learned through listening to other people, speaking on this, is your first wave of people that want to sign up are like this, I'm not missing out, that they're missing out. They're like, I need to get in. Then there are people that are like on the fence, and they're like, I want to know more information. Like, I need to know. They're going to ask more questions. They need to dig in a little bit more. Then your last group of people are the people that are like, uh-oh, it's closing time. They're the last minute people that are like, they're going to jump in, but they're waiting to that last little bit. So that's what I try to approach in my emails and in my posts. So I'm like, hey, enrollment open. This is exciting, blah, 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 blah. And I've got some people are like, I'm in. Then I address questions in my posts, like as I'm going through it. Because other people are kind of on the like, yeah, enrollment's still going for my boot camp, and this is what it entails, blah, blah, blah. I talk about it more on my stories. I talk about the details. I try to answer questions. And then I put the enrollment's closing. If you miss out, until we open, our next boot camp in a month, and blah, blah, blah. Now, if somebody wanted to get helped in 2 weeks, obviously I would help them, but they wouldn't be able to start with everybody on the same date. You know what I mean? And so as I tell everyone, is like, I want you to start with everybody else on that same date. Like, we're all going to get our programming. We're all going to go through this together. This is important. So that's where it's that big push.
So in regards to the fear of missing out, I have a quick question since you brought that up.
Yeah.
So I saw Carl post today about how there's 1 week left to get in on the coach test group. I thought it's moved to the 31st to get in, and they have till August 7th to get the invitation to get into the exclusive coach group. So is there something I'm missing? Are they?
It's just because it's actually starting.
Okay.
Like, if you want to start with everybody
I'm
else?
going to start with everybody else so that we can create that fear of missing out for that, but then tell people, because I have people who won't be able to order till like maybe Thursday or Friday or something because they don't get paid till then, and they were
Yeah.
like, I'll do it then. So I'm trying to create that momentum. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, that's good. All right, sweet. I talked really a lot. You want to save yours for next week? He was going to share more on like the personal development and routine type stuff. It's really helped his business a lot. So I know that I talked kind of a lot though. So we can do that. You can do that next week. How long is it? You want to do 10 minutes? You guys got 10 minutes?
I always have 10 minutes for Cliff.
All right. I'm going to hand it over to him. Okay, are you staying here?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it will not.
I stay in my man chair. How's everybody doing? Good deal. So, yeah, Patty's starting a timer on me. So I get excited about talking about systems and processes because I'm weird like that. Does anybody else relate to that? Yeah, I see Shay shaking her head no, both thumbs down. Patty's over there saying
Like Excel?
I'm working on it.
So this topic, if you're process oriented, this topic is really interesting. If you're not process oriented, then this topic is also very interesting because it can really turn up the heat in your productivity. If you're able to find something that works for you and you can stick with it, because that's the key, right? So I want to talk about morning routines and being able to get more done during the day, efficiency. And raise your hand if you have read The Miracle Morning. All right, almost everybody. Raise your hand if you've read The Miracle Morning for network marketers. No? Okay. So still several of you. If you haven't read the version for network marketers, the author, Hal Elrod, partnered with a very successful network marketer in a business. And they wrote one specifically for network marketing. Now, he still spends a good hour on the actual morning routine, but a lot of the book is focused on how to build a network marketing business, exactly what we do, right? And so it's extremely beneficial. And so there's a lot more value there than just the morning routine. I think this is the perfect book for any new coach that you bring on board because it gets them started on the right foot as far as getting in the right mindset first thing in the morning and doing some of the things that are going to set them up for success. And so I've had some more recent coaches and all my future coaches, that's the first book that they're going to read. Another cool thing about that book too is I know that Micah has done this, but you can use that content for free groups. And I've done it for a couple free groups and they were both really successful because people want to get more efficiency in their day. They want to be more productive and get more done. And so if you're offering free content on how to make, how to help people become more efficient by starting the day off right, and then you include exercise and you plug in nutrition as a big piece of that equation, then you set yourself up for potential success for converting them into challenge clients. So that's kind of a cool thing as well. But I wanted to share with you guys just really how it's impacted me. Then I'll go into my specific routine. And hopefully if you don't have a routine right now or if you're not happy with a routine, then maybe you can take away something from that. So real quickly, who has a morning routine that they absolutely are in love with and is working for them? Okay, cool. So a few of you guys, but
Tara.
Patty's over there saying, Tara, you got a good routine?
I did. I've fallen off the wagon lately, though.
You're wired a lot like me, Tara. one
I
of the,
did
so
until summer break came along.
yeah, right. And then kids just throw a wrench in everything. Then
Yes.
the cool thing is when you get kids on a structured morning routine and watch how their productivity increases. The first thing that it's done for me is it's helped me be more intentional about important routines that contribute directly to my goal. And so that really comes down to a logical versus emotional decision. And so a lot of times if we're tired, if we're hungry, we often say, oh, I just don't feel like doing that, right? Well, that feeling of not wanting to do something might be in direct contrast to a rational and logical decision we made for ourselves that we knew was in the best interest for us. And so whenever you have a set morning routine like that, it's really, really beneficial that you can be intentional about some core competencies in your day that can contribute to your goal, whatever that goal is. Secondly, it's helped me be consistent. I have a plan every morning, and all I have to do is execute it. I just have to show up and do it. And so that's helped drive a lot of consistency in my day. And then the obvious, it helps me start my morning off. Okay, I start off in a good mood, and a positive mindset. I get a few quick wins right off the bat, and that just ensures me that I can set myself up for a good, productive day. Now, the cool thing is you don't have to be, quote, a morning person to have a good morning routine. Like, Patty used to have this awesome routine, and then now she has a toddler. And she has a lot of things in her life just completely out of her control when it comes to schedule in the mornings. What kind of night they had, what kind of, how late he's sleeping in, all those things. But she still does a lot of key things in the morning from her phone in bed that set her up for success for the day. And so whatever your morning time is, whatever time you decide that you get up, you can start a morning routine. So you don't have to be, quote, a morning person. And if you want to get up earlier, then you can make that decision too. You can get up earlier. I, for example, was always someone who liked to work out in the evenings. After 10 years in the military, I got burned out on doing 4 o'clock PT in the morning. And so for like 6 years after I got out, I was just like, I'm not working out until after 4 p.m. And then situation changed, life changed, and now I have to work out in the morning. So I made a conscious decision, and I changed it. And so anybody can decide to be a morning person. There's a few things that you can do to really set yourself up for success. If you struggle with mornings, then it's good to have a plan in place to help you execute and help you show up. Because in the morning, what happens? Emotions come in. I don't feel like getting up. I don't feel like getting out of bed. And so one thing that I like to do is I put everything on my calendar. If I put it on my calendar, then it has a significantly higher chance of getting done. And so I create an event, I put it on repeat. So every single morning, my morning routine is planned out. It's on my calendar. If I get off track, I just have to go to my calendar and see what it's supposed to be. You can set your alarm clock across the room. At a point where I don't do that, but I know it's worked for a lot of people where if they hit snooze 3, 4, 5 different times, or if they set their alarm clock on the other side of the bedroom, they're physically forced to get out of bed, shut it off. And once you're up, you're like, I'm up. Is that you, Tara? That one work for you?
Yeah. That was actually how I was successful with 80-Day Obsession. Was I bought an alarm clock, I put it across the room, and like the goal is to get over there and turn it off before it wakes my husband up. Except like, when it's been a really long night, the dog or whatever, I just like lay down on the couch and then it all spirals downhill from there. Yes, putting the alarm clock across the room is genius. Just don't lay back down on the couch because that.
Which leads me to my next point, Tara. Thank you for bringing that up. So the very next thing that I do whenever I wake up is I down 2 full glasses of water. So I get in 24 ounces of water first thing in the morning, and I chase it with some Energize. All right. Try to lay down on the couch after that. That energize kicks in, you're ready to go, right? So those are some things that I do to kind of help set my morning routine up for success. That just because you know what, when you're up that early in the morning, everything's a risk. Like the couch is a risk, your bed is a risk. You can fall asleep anywhere. So minimizing that risk is the key here. Those are a few things that I like to do. Let's jump into the routine real quickly. If you've read that book, you know that the morning routine is like, it's your routine. So I'm going to go through my routine, but your routine looks like whatever works for you. And so my routine really is not the Miracle Morning. It's in a different order, and I have some different things on there because it's evolved and it's changed over time. And I found what's worked for me and what I can be consistent with. So while I'm downing that water and drinking my Energize, I already have my headphones in and I'm already listening to some music, because that also is a way to set myself up for success, but it's also a critical part of my morning routine. And so that means that if I'm listening to an audiobook on 1.5 speed or 2 times speed, then I can get almost an hour of personal development in from the time that I wake up until the time that my Energize is kicked in and I'm ready to go work out. And so there's a good way to fit in a full hour of PD from the time you wake up until 30 minutes later and you're working out. The next thing I do is I get my workout in. After that, when I come back and I have my recover and I'm getting in the shower, and I'll spend that time in prayer. And so if you don't pray, then you can do meditation. But whatever that looks like for you, a time to really connect with your thoughts, connect with your feelings, and come in tune with who you are, clarity around your purpose and what you're trying to accomplish. After that, I jump back into reading, but I chose to do a different kind of reading. This is where I get in my spiritual development. So usually I'll read some very quick, like I spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes doing devotionals here, and then I jump into affirmations. Now, I have my affirmations written out so that every morning I use an app that I just copy them from yesterday and I paste them over in today. And then I read through them. Those things have evolved and changed over time. I feel like I read my affirmations for 30 minutes, but it's probably just like realistically 5. But they've definitely added up over time. While I'm reading those affirmations and I'm affirming to myself who I am, I think it's important to note that it's not about, I am somebody that I'm not, because at that point it's not an affirmation, it's a lie. All right. I am not a millionaire. So I'm not going to wake up and say I'm a millionaire. But what I might say is I am going to do the work, and the work is this, in order to be able to generate $1 million, if that were my goal. And so I think it's important to kind of stay in the present and focus on the affirmation of the action, the affirmation of what it is you intend to do to get the result and not just the result. It kind of ties in visualization too. The next thing I do is I answer 3 questions. And this is a huge part of my morning routine, and the kids love it too because it's part of their morning routine. I got these 3 questions from Peter Voogd's book, 6 Months to 6 Figures. And the first question is, what am I grateful for? And I will write down, depending on the day and how grateful I am, anything from 1 to 10 different things that I'm grateful for in my life. The second question that I ask myself is, what am I going to get done today, no matter what? This is a non-negotiable. I try to keep this list as short as possible. 1, 2, or maybe 3 items of what I plan to get done today, so that at the end of the day I can go back and see if it happened or not. Those are non-negotiables, and usually outside of routine things. And then the last question is what am I excited about? It could be anything. But it's good to focus our minds on things that we are excited about. Those are 3 things that just help my mindset get in the proper place, and so that I am prepared to tackle my day. And then the last thing that I'll do is I'll spend time visualizing. I will visualize everything from who I am as a husband, as a father, as a man, what my business looks like, what my lifestyle looks like, where I live, what I drive, what I dress like, who I spend time with, what kind of activity I choose to spend my time doing throughout the day. Whatever it is that fuels you, visualize that, okay? But try to visualize who you are becoming. And just like we talked about with affirmations, this is also key on visualizing the actions required to get there. And so I may not visualize being that billionaire, but I am going to visualize what it's like to help 40,000 people in my downline change their lives, and the activities that are required in order to help those people. And so whenever you're visualizing those kinds of activities, our brains don't just shut off of getting a sense of accomplishment, like, oh, I accomplished it already. No, you're like, oh, I got work to do, and this is what it feels like if I were to do that kind of work. So this will end on a challenge real quick. Maybe next week it would probably be good if we wanted to share what our morning routine is. Just a quick 30 seconds to 1 minute on what we do in our morning routine and what works for us. Because we all do something different, and whatever we're doing is working for us. Whatever you're going to implement this week is going to work for you. If you need to make some tweaks or some changes, and we can all learn from each other. And so next week I'll be excited to hear from everybody on what they're doing, and maybe just like a key takeaway of what's really changed and what's working for them. Does that sound good to everybody? Cool.
That's good.
I just unloaded a ton of
Hey,
stuff.
what's the average time?
The average time of a morning routine?
Yeah, for yours. Yeah, what's it like start to finish?
So I have an hour blocked off on my calendar, and I usually spend 30 to 45 minutes on it. So, I'll take that back because fitness is a part of that. So we'll say that 4:30 is when mine starts, and then 30 minutes of PD, and then I give myself like an hour to work out, even though, because obviously you have to put everything on the stories and change all your filters.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like 30 minutes of your workout and then the morning routine. So 4:30 to about 7:15. Now that doesn't have to be your morning routine. Obviously, I work from home. I have a little bit more time to invest in it, but
Mine takes like 5 hours.
5 hours.
I'm kidding, but that's just because like it starts at a certain point and then you have a break and then it starts and then a break and then, you know what I mean? It's like I don't do it all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I work full time, Eric. And so I know for me, there's been a couple things I've done, and I've changed it, but like I do PD in the car on the way to work. Like that's when I do my personal development.
Yep.
My devotional, like it just depends on if I'm in actually a Bible study, but sometimes that's at night. Or, not, but I have a little book. I actually have it right here that I found, and it's like 365, reflections, whatever. So it's really short. So I'll do that like as I'm drinking my Energize. So there's ways that you can kind of incorporate. I know people their affirmations saved on their phone, like in a recording. You can listen to that while you're showering or while you're driving. So depending on your schedule, it doesn't have to be like the time. You can kind of integrate it throughout the day. I remember in the beginning, I was overwhelmed with Miracle Morning. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to get up at 3. Anyway, but it wasn't working with having little kids. So I just realized that you don't do it all at one time. But that's some of the things that helped me is it's like, when can I integrate it? But I have to be disciplined while I'm driving to put it on personal development and not make a phone call to my sister just to talk, kind of thing, until I've done my 20 minutes of personal development.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think too that you can always obviously you have to put this down. If you're on a time schedule. I remember, I worked in a corporate environment for a long time, and I had a morning routine then as well. It wasn't as dialed in as it is now, but I remember how it was to be able to put people on the drive, and you have very, very little time to get everything else in. And I think that you can really just break down all the different categories or compartments that you have in your morning routine into 5-minute sections. If that's all you have time for, then that is better than nothing. And you're still able to fill your mind with some positivity and set yourself up for success with this 5-minute blocks of time for each thing.
Thanks, babe. Can we take a picture?
Mm-hmm.
Shay, can you take a picture? You usually do a really good job.
You? Okay.
I don't have my phone on me.
All right, everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. Let me do a side one, a little better one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'll put it on red.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
I'll